Yo, how's it going, everybody? It's MacklinGaming. Last week we had a big Nintendo Direct. It was the first Nintendo Switch 2 Direct for games, right? They showed the Nintendo Switch 2 hardware reveal Direct. That was in like April. But we finally got release dates for big major games coming out from the first party of Nintendo, specifically Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. I mean, that game has been shown for years. Let's go all the way back to when it first was revealed at E3 2017. Insane to even, like, it doesn't sound true when I say it, right? But then a few years later, Nintendo came out again at a Direct and said, you know, this game has not been developing the way we want it to be, so we're switching development teams. They gave Metroid Prime back to Retro Studios, who made the first one, and it's one of the best games of all time. So they gave it to Retro. So Retro's been working on this maybe the last like 5 to 7 years. So about last year, I think in 2024, Nintendo starts showing Metroid Prime 4, and they call it Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, and they start showing like gameplay of the beginning of the game, and they start talking about it, showing it in directs, but they do not give a release date ever until this September Direct 2025. So now we know Metroid Prime 4 is coming out December 4th. I could just see it the whole year going by and no release date. They were just pushing this game, asking Retro. Nintendo was like, hey, is it ready? Can we put this out? It has to come out this year. We've been waiting forever, you know? So they waited to the last window to release in December, which Nintendo games usually do not come out in December, but that's okay. We're gonna get Metroid Prime 4 this year. The same year we get Silk Song, and these two games were both like mythical games. Like, who knew when they were ever gonna come out, or if the development was even going well for some years in there. Like, nobody knew, nobody heard from them. What a year it is to have Silk Song. I'm still going through that, and to have Metroid Prime 4 on the horizon here. So the first trailers and the gameplay trailers that they showed last year were great. It looked so much like the first Metroid Prime game, like the remaster that they made on Switch. You could see Retro's using the same kind of like assets and technology to make Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. But the problem recently at this September Direct this year was that they showed a segment of the game that looked awful, to be honest. Like, they showed, first of all, Samus on a motorcycle, like a futuristic motorcycle. That was cool. But the way she was riding it around in this barren desert, like just literally just sand. There was like maybe some mountains in the background, and I saw like one little building or something. And so you see her locking on to this like aerial boss that's like moving around at high speeds, and she's trying to zoom around on the motorcycle and destroy it. It just didn't look like the greatest part of the game. However, you know, everyone's like, oh, Metroid Prime 4 looks awful now. I'm not going to start saying that the whole game looks bad and it's going to be a bad game because of this motorcycle trailer. I don't know why they showed that. Probably because it's the newest signature feature of this game, where, you know, the first Metroid Prime is such a tight-knit, isolated game. It's like tight corridor exploration. It's just Samus, who I have to say is badass and sexy. I love Samus. Let's go. But as she's moving through this planet in Prime 1, it's just a great atmosphere of a game, right? Tight little rooms and corridors to explore. Nothing open world or anything in that game. But here it looks like in Metroid Prime 4, they're trying to do some of that. And that might not be what a Metroidvania, what a Metroid Prime game needs. You know, Metroid Prime is just a 3D version of a Metroidvania. They took the camera and put it right behind Samus's eyes and designed the first Metroid Prime as a Metroidvania still. So that's like it's why it's a masterpiece of game design and level design, the way they flip the perspective of these games that already existed, like Castlevania and the 2D Metroid games. So they changed everything with Prime 1, and here we are with Prime 4. The first trailer, like I said, the first gameplay mission they showed looks really good. It looks like this Prime 1 kind of atmospheric setting. But this motorcycle mechanic has like changed this game for me and a lot of people, I think, online who are seeing this, and they're saying, how is this game gonna play? Like, are we still gonna be in these facilities or these parts of the planet that are like tight-knit exploration, or are we gonna be opening this game up big time? And I think those motorcycle instances, because they showed one in the desert and they showed one not in a desert, and she's still on the bike. I think the bike is gonna chain together or link together these different maps right? So you're not going to have like one giant Metroidvania map like in a facility. There's going to be one facility, and then Samus will use the bike to like cross part of the planet and go to a different facility, right? Or a different location. Maybe there's some outside areas in this game too. Like I remember seeing like a jungle area from last year's trailer, right? So there does look to be some nice variety in the maps that you'll explore, like desert, jungles, space stations, you know. But I think with all those different areas, they'll each have like tight little maps to explore and bosses to face, right? And you'll progress the main story, but they won't all be connected. You'll have to like drive there or something. In that case, I don't think it's gonna be detrimental. Like, I don't think it's gonna take away too much from the game. It doesn't look great. I'm talking about why it doesn't look so great in a second here. I think it might actually be a breath of fresh air for Samus to get on the bike and explore, and you're skirting around these alien planets in a wide open space for a little bit of the game, right? And then you get back into the tight-knit Metroidvania exploration of wherever your destination was. So this could be potentially a nice palate cleanser to the gameplay. But let's talk about the real problem here, and it's the visuals of this game and of this motorcycle segment. So they showed just a really empty looking wasteland and all that. But why do you think that is? Like, we have to remember Metroid Prime 4 is a Switch 1 game. Just like I said in my video about Pokemon Legends ZA, well, the video was the direct video, but I mentioned Pokemon Legends ZA. These are Switch 1 games. Metroid Prime 4, Switch 1 game. This game should have come out on the Switch 1's lifetime. This should, you know, we should look back at the Switch and say Metroid Prime 4 was a great Switch 1 game. It's the Metroid Prime game for the Switch 1 generation. Man, that was awesome, right? But no, we're here in 2025 and the Switch 2 has already launched, and this game, because of its tumultuous development cycle, has been delayed and pushed far into the point where we're not really in the Switch 1 hype anymore. It's all Switch 2. So we have this Prime 4 game that comes out and it doesn't look like a Switch 2 game. It's looking like a Switch 1 game, right? And it's just gonna have 60 FPS or even 120 FPS on Switch 2 and 4K resolution. But on the Switch 1, it's gonna be, you know, 720p 60, 1080p 60, and that's the way the game was designed. And so we have to keep that in mind. People need to temper their expectations about Metroid Prime 4 because it's not a next generation game. It's just going to be ported to Switch 2 and up-resed, right? But it is made for the Switch 1 and it has been for like 8 years. So with that in mind, I'm still going to appreciate the game. I'm still going to really enjoy playing it because Metroid Prime 1 is one of my favorite games of all time. So what do you guys think about Metroid Prime 4? Has this trailer with the motorcycle killed it for you? Or are you still excited to play one of the most mythical, legendary games in development history to come out this year, just like Silksong? I feel like you have to be there as part of history, right? Let's see if Metroid Prime 4 is any good. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. Leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I love to see you guys joining the channel. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.